Welcome to Eerie, Britain, your gateway to the haunted heart of the United Kingdom. From eerie whispers in forgotten villages to spine-chilling tales of ancient cities, we uncover the ghostly secrets lurking in every corner of the UK. But this channel isn't just about our stories, it's about yours too. Have you experienced something unexplained? A haunting that sent shivers down your spine? Share your ghostly encounters with us and we might feature them in an upcoming video. Join our growing community of paranormal explorers. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a tale of restless spirits, haunted mansions or spine-tingling mysteries. Your voice matters. Comment or share your story. Let's uncover the truth behind the shadows together. So light a candle, gather your courage and become part of the story. Because the ghosts are waiting and their stories must be told.
Hold tight for tonight's next story.
Queen's Road. A name so ordinary, yet a place so extraordinary. By day, it is a bustling street. Shops open their doors and people rush about their business. The street is alive with the sounds of commerce and conversation. The air is filled with the scent of fresh bread from the bakery and the chatter of friends meeting for coffee. But as the sun begins its descent, a change creeps over Queen's Road. Shadows grow long and stretch across the asphalt like grasping claws. The street lamps flicker to life, casting an orange glow that only highlights the deepening darkness. The bustle of the day fades away. Silence descends, broken only by the distant hum of traffic and the occasional bark of a dog. The air grows heavy with a strange stillness, a tangible sense of anticipation. It is as if the very street itself is holding its breath, waiting. For this is when Queen's Road truly reveals its nature, when the veil between worlds thins and the past reaches out. It is in the darkness that the past reaches out, and it is in the silence that the dead speak. The street, now empty and quiet, seems to whisper secrets of days long gone. The fog rolls in, adding to the eerie atmosphere, making the familiar seem unfamiliar. The lampposts cast long shadows that dance and flicker. It is a place where time seems to stand still, where the past and present collide in a hauntingly beautiful dance. For this is Queen's Road by night, a place where the ordinary becomes extraordinary and the veil between worlds is thin. When the veil between worlds thins and the past reaches out, it is in the darkness that the past reaches out. And it is in the silence that the dead speak. The year was 1899, a time when the world was still discovering the marvels of the industrial age. A storm raged over Nuneaton, a small town caught in the throes of nature's fury. Rain lashed down with the fury of 1,000 demons, turning streets into rivers and making the cobblestone slick and treacherous. Wind howled through the streets, tearing at roofs and uprooting trees, creating a cacophony of destruction. It was a night of untamed nature, a night for fear and uncertainty, where the very air seemed charged with menace. On this night, a young woman named Margaret hurried home along Queen's Road, her heart pounding in her chest. She was caught in the storm's fury, her every step a struggle against the relentless elements. Her cloak offered little protection from the biting wind and the relentless rain, which soaked her to the bone. Each step was a battle against the elements, her strength waning with every gust of wind and every drop of rain. Suddenly, a deafening crack echoed through the night, louder than any thunderclap she had ever heard. A building nearby, its foundations weakened by the relentless rain, began to crumble, its walls giving way to the storm's might. A large wooden beam, torn loose by the wind, plummeted down with terrifying speed. It struck Margaret with a sickening thud, the force of the impact knocking her to the ground. Her lifeless body crumpled to the ground, swallowed by the shadows and the storm. A tragic end to a night of chaos. Years passed. The tragedy of Margaret's death faded into local lore. But something remained on Queen's Road, something not of this world. It began subtly, whispers on the wind, a chill down the spine, a fleeting glimpse of a shadowy figure at the edge of vision. Residents spoke of a presence, a coldness that clung to the air even on the warmest nights, a feeling of being watched, of being followed. But these were easily dismissed, tricks of the mind, the power of suggestion, or simply the overactive imaginations of the superstitious. Yet, the stories persisted. The whispers grew louder. The glimpses became more frequent, and the residents of Queen's Road could no longer deny the truth. They were not alone. Margaret was back. Section 4, Encounters with the Unexplained. One night, a taxi driver, late for a fare, sped down Queen's Road. The rain poured heavily, making visibility poor and the road slippery. As he rounded a bend, his headlights illuminated a figure standing in the middle of the road. The figure seemed almost ethereal, shimmering in the rain. A woman in a long white dress. She appeared out of nowhere, her presence both haunting and mesmerizing, her face pale, her eyes filled with a deep sadness. It was as if she carried the weight of countless sorrows. The taxi driver slammed on his brakes, his heart pounding in his chest. He could feel the adrenaline surging through his veins, but when he looked again, the woman was gone, vanished into thin air. The road was empty, save for the mist that lingered. Then there were the teenagers. They had heard the stories, but they were skeptical. They dared each other to walk the length of Queen's Road at midnight, their hearts racing with a mix of fear and excitement. Laughing off the stories as old wives' tales, they tried to mask their unease with jokes and bravado. But their laughter died in their throats when they felt a cold hand brush against their necks. The sensation was chilling, sending shivers down their spines. They turned, but there was no one there. The street was empty, the darkness pressing in around them. Only the echo of their own fear in the stillness of the night. The silence was deafening, amplifying their terror. These encounters, and countless others, cemented the legend of the ghostly lady of Queen's Road. Her story was passed down through generations, growing with each retelling. Her presence, once a whisper, became an undeniable truth. The ghostly lady of Queen's Road was no longer just a tale, but a part of the town's very fabric. Section 5. Why she remains. Why does Margaret's spirit linger? What ties her to this earthly realm? Some say she is searching for something, perhaps the peace she never found in life. Or maybe she is seeking justice for her untimely demise. Paranormal experts believe that certain locations become imbued with the energy of tragic events. They call these places residual hauntings. If this is true, then Queen's Road is saturated with the energy of Margaret's final moments. Her fear, her pain, her sudden and violent end. Whatever the reason, Margaret's spirit remains, a constant reminder of the fragility of life and the enduring power of the past. Section 6. The ghostly presence lingers. The next time you find yourself walking down Queen's Road, take a moment to pause, look around you, listen to the silence. Can you feel a chill in the air? Do you see a flicker of movement in the shadows? Perhaps it is just the wind, or maybe, just maybe, it is the ghostly lady of Queen's Road, forever bound to the place of her tragic end. Her presence, a chilling reminder that some stories never truly end. They simply fade into the fabric of the place, waiting to be...
Hold tight for tonight's next story.
This is gonna blow your mind. The old iron bridge groans, it shudders under the weight of time. Below the river flows, dark and deep. It whispers secrets to the reeds on the bank. Above the bridge stands stark against the sky, a monument to sorrow. They call it Weddington Bridge, but locals know its true name, Mary's Bridge, a place of shadows and whispers. The air is always colder here. Hairs prickle on the back of your neck. A low mist clings to the water, even on clear days. The scent of damp earth lingers and a heavy silence hangs in the air, broken only by the mournful cry of a distant train. The bridge is a scar on the landscape, a reminder of a tragedy that time cannot erase, a young woman driven to despair, a fateful night, and a haunting that refuses to die. Mary lived in a time of horse-drawn carriages and gaslight. Her world was small, her life simple. She was engaged to marry a young man, a blacksmith from the village. Their love was a bright flame in her life. He promised her a future filled with warmth and laughter. She dreamed of their wedding day, of the white dress she would wear, of the life they would build together. Then tragedy struck. Her fiancé was killed. A workplace accident at the forge. The news came like a hammer blow, crushing her dreams, her spirit. Mary was inconsolable. Her grief was a heavy cloak, smothering her, dragging her down into despair. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. Mary wandered the village like a ghost. Her eyes were empty, her heart a stone in her chest. The villagers whispered their pity, but nothing could ease her pain, nothing could fill the void left by her lost love. One night, under a moonless sky, Mary walked towards the bridge. Her footsteps echoed hollowly on the cobblestone street. The river flowed black and silent below. It seemed to beckon her, to promise her an escape from her pain. She leaned against the cold iron railing. The wind whipped her hair around her face. Tears streamed down her cheeks, mingling with the rain. In her despair, she saw only darkness. Her future, once bright with promise, now seemed a bleak and empty wasteland. She closed her eyes and listened to the river's song. It called to her, a siren song of oblivion. In that moment, death seemed a welcome release, a way to end the pain that consumed her, to finally be reunited with her lost love. And then she was gone, her body swallowed by the dark water below. The river, her silent accomplice, closed over her, claiming her as its own. They say the bridge has been haunted ever since, that Mary's spirit, unable to find peace, lingers there, trapped between this world and the next, searching for something she cannot find, or perhaps seeking to warn others from the same fate. It started subtly, whispers on the wind, sounding like a woman's cry, shadows flitting across the bridge at the edge of vision, a coldness that settled over anyone who dared to cross. The villagers spoke of strange occurrences, of objects moving on their own, of a feeling of being watched. Animals, particularly horses, were spooked by the bridge, refusing to cross, their eyes wide with terror. Some people claimed to hear footsteps following them, heavy, dragging footsteps, but when they turned, there was no one there, just the mist swirling in the moonlight. The stories spread, whispered from neighbor to neighbor. The bridge, once a symbol of progress and connection, became a place of fear, avoided after dark, its name spoken in hushed tones. Over the years, there have been countless encounters, chilling tales from those brave enough or foolish enough to venture onto the bridge at night. A young couple walking home from a dance saw a figure standing on the bridge, a woman in a white dress, her long hair flowing in the wind. As they approached, the figure turned, and they saw her face, pale and gaunt, with eyes that burned with a cold, white light. The couple fled in terror, the image of the woman's face seared into their minds. A group of teenagers, daring each other to cross the bridge at midnight, heard a blood-curdling scream. It echoed through the night, filled with such pain and despair that it chilled them to the bone. They ran, stumbling and falling in their haste to escape. The scream followed them, growing fainter as they distanced themselves from the bridge. None of them ever dared to return. A lone fisherman, casting his line into the river below the bridge, felt a cold hand on his shoulder. He turned, expecting to see a fellow fisherman, but there was no one there, only the mist, swirling thicker than before. He packed up his things and left, a sense of dread settling over him. Today, the bridge stands as a testament to Mary's tragic story. A place where the veil between this world and the next seems to thin. Locals still speak of the haunting. Some dismiss it as folklore, just stories to frighten children and curious tourists. But others know the truth. They say that on the anniversary of her death, Mary's cries can be heard echoing from the bridge, a mournful wail that sends shivers down your spine, and that her ghostly figure can be seen wandering the bridge, searching for her lost love. Paranormal investigators have flocked to the bridge, drawn by its dark history and the numerous reports of strange activity. They have recorded temperature drops, EVPs, electronic voice phenomena, and strange anomalies in their photographs. Some claim to have communicated with Mary's spirit, to have felt her sadness, her anger, her despair. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, there is an undeniable atmosphere at Weddington Bridge, a sense of sorrow, of loss, of something not quite right. It's a place that gets under your skin, that stays with you long after you've left. So, if you ever find yourself near Weddington Bridge, be warned, especially if you are alone, and especially after dark. Listen for the whispers on the wind. Watch for the shadows that move in the corner of your eye, and be wary of the cold that seems to seep into your bones, for you may be treading on haunted ground, and Mary's restless spirit may be watching you, waiting for a chance to tell her story, or perhaps to find some solace in your...
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And don't have nightmares.